Greetings, supersonic warriors. Duuz-Diz-Din back with more Sonic the Hedgehog by IDW. Last time we got to see Surge's rampage of terror. After making off with Dr. Eggman's dynamo cage, an invention that would allow the user access to the Wisp's power against their will. Under normal circumstances, Wisp power can only be allowed to those that the Wisp has set. For Sonic, they merge with his body. For most others, they are used in Wispun, but with the dynamo cage enhancing Surge's natural abilities, she goes on an absolute tear through a nearby city, coming into contact with none other than Whisper, beating Whisper down and even taking Whisper's wisp for her own. This powers up Surge even more. And with so much destruction, of course, Sonic and Tails were sent to the scene by Jewel, with the duo having previously taken in Kit, Surge's former partner, with Kit having become obsessed with helping Sonic because of the subservient nature programmed into him by Dr. Starlight. What will happen when Kit finds out that Surge is still alive? Will Surge even want Kit back with this newfound power? And will Sonic and Tails survive the experience? Join me as I find out, won't you? Look at her, petting the Wisp menacingly. Okay, we got story by Evan Stanley, art by Evan Stanley and Natalie Hines. There's going to be an art shift. I wonder how noticeable it's going to be. Colors by that dude, Reggie Graham. Letters by Sean Lee, editor Riley Farmer and David Marriott. It's the roll call. Today's issue features Sonic the Hedgehog, the blue blur, the fastest thing alive. Miles Tails per hour, tech-savvy sidekick, high-flying genius. Kit Tsunami, Kit the Fennec, sorrowful sidekick, high-flying hydromancer. Whisper the Wolf, silent sniper, variable Wispun master, and Surge the Tenric, the mean green, roguish speedster. We pick up as the fight in Central City continues on, with Tails doing his best to keep Sonic out of harm's way, narrowly dodging Surge's electrical blast, with Surge screaming out at them, "You can't stay up there forever, Flyboy. Get down here and let's finish this." Tails is struggling to keep Sonic aloft, saying, "I'm not sure we can keep this up." Sonic says, "As long as we can keep her attention on me and not the rest of the city, we've gotta." But Surge says, "Fine, if you're too chicken, I'll come to you." And she goes into a revving spin dash, heading straight for Sonic and Tails, bounding off of a piece of debris, managing to strike Tails down, as well as spin dashing Sonic right into the pavement. Sonic manages to get up, but he's still injured. His leg was previously harmed while trying to escape from Eggman City during the events of Starline's machinations. So Sonic's playing with a bit of a handicap, as he looks down at his injury saying, "Ow! Don't give out on me now." Surge sees this and is willing to take advantage of Sonic's dire situation, saying, "Aw, you got a boo-boo? You won't have to worry about that much longer." But then a whistle comes from the distance. Surge turns, questioning, "What?" And we see Whisper standing atop some rubble alongside her laser wisp. Sonic tells her, "Whisper, wait, don't." But Whisper throws out the diamond-like objects that the laser wisp can zip through, planting them all around Surge, and the laser wisp heads straight for Sonic. Sonic, realizing Whisper's plan, says, "Oh, okay. That's smart." Surge is siphoning energy off of the wisp, and Sonic's normal physical form is taking a beating, but his wisp-empowered form, that might be able to get the job done. Oh, that is actually really cool. The way we see Sonic empowered by the laser wisp. Sonic now empowered by the power of laser! Says, "I worked with wisps a time or two. I gotta say, your fancy hat's pretty neat, but this is how it's really done." And Sonic goes surging about, slamming into Surge. Surging about, slamming into Surge. Left, right, and center, giving her the beating of a lifetime, thanks to all the little diamonds that the laser wisp can just direct towards. Tails comes up next to Whisper saying, "Alright, Sonic," seeing that he's gotten the upper hand. But Surge then uses the power of the cube wisp in order to block Sonic's shot, as she says, thinks he's so smart. But with this bit of a reprieve, she manages to look around, sussing out where Sonic is, and I guess as she managed to spot him, she says there, and fully charges up the dynamo cage. Ooh! she manages to catch Sonic in his laser wisp form. And then thanks to the dynamo cage, she's able to separate the laser wisp from Sonic. And she says, cute. Dang. Whisper screams out for the laser wisp, screaming, Cyan. But Tails holds her back, saying, no, you can't. As soon as you get close, she'll fry you. Unless we can drain her power, there's no stopping her. Whisper slumps to the ground but says, I'm not giving up. And Tails says, and neither am I. Actually, wait here, I've got an idea. Surge is charged up by even more power now from the various wisps she's managed to absorb. And as Sonic tries to stand his ground, he tells Surge, the wisps, they're thinking, feeling creatures. But Surge brushes them off, saying, you think I care? I'm sick of your holier-than-thou grandstanding. Where do you get off telling me how to be? But Sonic then notices Tails gesturing to him, trying to get his attention. Sonic sees this and goes racing off in Tails' direction, telling Surge, hold that thought. Taking Surge off guard, Sonic follows Tails into what looks like a hardware store, with Sonic telling Tails, you better have a plan, buddy, 'cause I sure don't. Tails, heading through the store, says, hold her off here for a minute. Then meet me in the tools and appliances section downstairs. Downstairs. And as Surge gets closer, yelling from the streets, he says, I'm talking to you, Hedgehog! With Sonic starting to sweat the situation, saying, hold her off. Sure, easy. No problemo. As Surge comes bursting through the glass of the store, eyes firing laser beams across the entirety of the store, carving it in two, with Surge screaming, don't you dare run away from me! Surge is pulling a full-on Cyclops, as Sonic can only duck to get out of the way of her eye beams. Amidst all the destruction, Surge manages to spot Sonic, saying, not so brave now. Where's the swagger you had back in Eggman City? You gonna forgive me now? And then, as Surge steps forward, she trips on some nuts, just utterly face-planting as Sonic just scurries away. Surge manages to pick herself up, beat red in embarrassment, saying, that's it, you're gonna fry. But before she can do anything, Sonic just shoves a bucket on her head, saying, no thanks. And as Surge struggles to get the bucket off of her head, honestly, if you had that much of an opportunity, you could have tried to destroy the dynamo that's on her head. But Sonic makes his way downstairs, saying, I may not be in top shape, but it's gonna take more than that to catch me. And as Sonic makes his way downstairs, he sees Tails has rigged up various jumper cables to generators, a lawnmower, just every electrical appliance in the place. Sonic sees this and says, dang, you've been busy. Tails tells Sonic, thanks, quick stand over there. And Sonic tells Tails, she is really ticked off. All set for whatever you got. And as Surge makes her way down the stairs, the power of the spike wisp surging through her hands, ready to just utterly cut somebody to ribbons. But in her anger, I guess she doesn't notice Tails approaching from behind until the last second, as she sees him and says, what the? And as Tails attaches the jumper cables to the headpiece of the dynamo cage, Tails tells her, sorry in advance, because this is gonna hurt. And suddenly all the power in Surge is essentially kind of like siphoned into all the electronic appliances all around her. Tails flies over next to Sonic and says, it's working! Powering everything in here will drain her power in no time. But Surge, she tries to fight against this, saying, you can't stop me! I'll show you power! And as Surge starts to light it up, Tails realizes what's about to happen and tells Sonic, uh-oh, get back! And they both go diving out of the way as Surge manages to just utterly overload all of the electronics, causing them all to just explode around her. But it looks like Surge's hubris managed to get the best of her, as it looks like she is just tapped out as she slumps to the ground. Sonic tells Tails, let's get that thing off her before she comes to. But as he bounds forward, he lands on his bad leg and just, oof, the pain. And as he sits there nursing his injury, saying, ah, dang it, Tails goes running over saying, I've got it. Oof. But as he nears Surge, who should be at the top of the stairs looking at everything going on, but Kit, looking on in shock. Kit goes running down the stairs towards Surge saying, What? Sonic sees this and says, Kit, please, get that ring thing off her. We can't stop her. When she wakes up, who knows what'll happen. But Kit, he's shaken. And then he says, you said she was gone. Sonic tells him, I thought she was. I saw her fall. But as Kit cradles Surge, he says, she's hurt. Bad. Sonic tries to reason with Kit, saying she's hurting herself but Kit pushes Sonic away, saying, no, it was you. You lied. You couldn't do it the first time, and you were going to finish what you started. Kit then says, well, I won't let you. And he goes to strike at Sonic with his water tendrils. But Tails manages to dissipate them with his own tails, flying past Sonic, who was bracing himself for the impact. And as Kit looks down at the two of them, upset and with disgust, he says, why would you bother with me? You already have him, gesturing towards Tails. Oof, that sidekick mentality. So unhealthy. Like Ian has said before, it's such an unhealthy mentality. Kit's mindset is consumed with being needed, whereas Sonic, he doesn't hang around with Tails because he needs Tails. Well, he does need Tails from time to time, but he hangs around with Tails because they're friends. Kit's mental conditioning just can't allow him to see things that way. Kit says, I'm done, and he gets ready to attack. As Sonic says, Tails, no. But Tails is ready, saying, it's okay, I got it. But Surge, she starts to wake up. This catches Kit's attention, who turns towards her. He races over towards Surge's side, saying, please, don't move. I'll get you out of here. He uses his tendrils to lift up Surge and himself, carrying her out of the store, saying, don't follow us, as he leaves Sonic and Tails behind. We then pick up back at Tails' workshop, where Sonic and Tails help get Belle out of the rubble that Kit buried her under, as she just apologizes, saying, sweet Stardust, I'm sorry. Sonic tells her, no worries, it happens. And as they get Belle out of harm's way, Tails turns to Sonic, saying, are you sure your leg's okay? Sonic simply says, yeah, it's getting better. You know I heal quick, just not quick enough this time. Tails questions, we're gonna follow them, right? Sonic says, oh yeah, she doesn't get to run off with Whisper's friends like that. And then Belle sees Whisper just huddled in the corner with her broken veritable Wispon. Belle goes over to Whisper and says, hey, I'm Belle. Nice to meet you. I know your friend Tangle. She told me about you. You know, if you need some help with your Wispon, I'm pretty good at fixing things. Will you let me take a look? Whisper doesn't say anything, but hands it over to Belle, as Belle simply says, thank you. Yeah, because honestly, I was curious how she would get it repaired, because the person who made it, Smithy, he's no longer around, you know? There was the possibility that Tails might be able to put it together, but I don't know if he's created Wispon before. But this at least gives Belle something to do and can help endear her to Whisper. But Sonic comes up towards the two, telling Whisper, we're gonna get your Wisp back. Promise. We then pick up with Eggman doing some repairs on Metal Sonic as Orbot and Cubot approach, with Orbot saying, I've taken inventory like you asked, boss. The new Conch prototype was smashed. Ooh, Conch. Something to control the Zeddy, huh? The E200 schematics were destroyed. He was gonna make an E200 series. Half of the spare Eggmobile drives are fried, and she stepped on Cubot's mint-condition cyber singer Mika 10-inch figurine. Is that a Hatsune Miku reference? Eggman backs off from his work on Metal Sonic, saying, but how? How did she do it? Orbot says, with her foot? He's not talking about the figurine, dude. Eggman, essentially musing to himself at this point, says, the way she used the dynamo. She tossed my entire design on its head. And whatever tech the platypus stuffed in her is clearly having a radical effect. But he comes to a realization, saying, that's it. I must know. My plans can wait. If this pays off, it could change everything. Come, Metal. We're going hunting. And Eggman heads out the door with Metal Sonic. Meanwhile, Surge slowly wakes up and Kit goes racing over to her side. I didn't notice it at first, but I'm just realizing we switched over to Natalie Hines and her artwork. Okay, not bad. Surge gets up and says, our bunk. This is Starline's base? Kit says, I didn't know where else to go. We'll be safe here. I even found some food and spare clothes, but the ghost of Starline appears behind Surge saying, nowhere is safe. Not for you. Surge goes racing off of the bed saying, get away! Kit is confused saying, I'm sorry? Huh? Surge finds herself backed into a corner, the ghost of Starline looming over her saying, right back where you started. Surge says, no, Starline says, I built your body. I shaped your mind. You will always be mine. But as Surge starts to have a mental breakdown, Kit goes over and holds her, saying, I'm sorry I left you. I didn't know. Please don't be upset. The Surge takes a moment, looks at Kit, and slowly pushes him off, saying, yeah, well, just don't do it again. As she ruffles his hair a little bit, she tells Kit with a smile, don't worry, Drippy. We're gonna make him pay. This is actually a very cute and endearing image. Like, dang, okay, good stuff. But from the looks of things, especially for this next cover, the whole storyline with Surge is gonna surge onward. Alright, okay. See, again, I'm glad we're not just dropping the Surge and Kit situation. Oh, I didn't even notice it at first, but you see Starline's little hair swoop in the background of that cover image. That's kinda cool. So the hunt for Surge and Kit is on. Honestly, every time I think we're about to be done with the two of them, it keeps going. And I'm not saying that as a problem. No. Honestly, I would have been kind of bummed if we had just moved away from their characters for too soon. Because you can't have a whole 4-issue miniseries building these characters up and their only real showdown with our heroes and villains and so on and so forth being just issue 50. Because again, I've said it before, issue 50 was good, but it was just not the big, bombastic, earth-shattering clash it was kind of being made out to be. It was the swan song for Starline, who, despite what Ian says on the Bumblecast and stuff like that, I do hope Starline comes back. I wouldn't be opposed to him being worse for wear, considering he had, a roof collapse on him and, but he was too interesting a character to just have completely disappear. Although I do love this mental ghost haunting Surge, It's another interesting contrast between her and Sonic. Sonic is free as the wind. He doesn't dwell on the past or anything like that. He doesn't hold grudges or animosity towards anyone, no matter what they might have done. But Surge is nothing but grudges, nothing but torment, nothing but trauma and hurt and stuff like that. And I'm actually really glad that Evan Stanley has decided to just keep going with this, because with other series and comics and stuff like that, one writer's work ends, the other writer picks up and goes into something completely different. But Evan Stanley and Ian, they've been like tag teaming this stuff, and I love it. It's just like, no, try to keep some cohesion going with your story. I love the fact that they talk things out, says, oh, okay, I want to go in this direction with the story. Is that okay? What do you think? Blah, blah, blah. They talk things out. That's why I would love to have, Evan go onto the Bumblecast and talk with Ian, answer questions. Because it's always great getting info from Ian, but I also want to get info from Evan. But, time of recording, also know that Ian's going to be back on the book sometime in the future. So it seems like Evan and Ian kind of trade off here and there. Which, again, is good. But it's not like Evan and Ian are strangers or anything like that. They've worked since the Archie days, so they're cohesive, they mesh well. And it also kind of adds to the point where some people think that the stuff that Evan writes is also stuff that Ian writes, but that's always kind of been the thing. People always mistake, oh, Ian wrote that, and it's like, no, that was Aaliyah Baker. Oh, Ian wrote this. No, that was Tracy Yardley who wrote that. Oh, Ian wrote that. No, that was someone else. But again, I love the cohesion, the continued development of these new characters. I love how even gone, Starline's ghost haunts the characters. His menace, his machinations, they're still lingering. Because the thing that was kind of bringing down issue 50 for me was the fact that it felt like, okay, we're gonna clean our hands of Starline. Starline's done, he's gone, we're moving on, we're moving forward, we have these new characters, we're going to focus on that. But no, everything that Starline did is still having an effect. There's still fallout, there's still people dealing with what he'd done, the hurt he'd done, the problems he's caused. That is interesting. That is good. That is fascinating. That is such a great direction, in my opinion, to go in. But I could keep going. I'm really vibing with this direction. I know that this storyline probably has only like a couple more issues with how most Sonic storylines by these guys usually go. Probably a couple more issues to resolve a few things. I hope we build to a really dynamic crescendo before we start teasing the next storyline. But I'm vibing with this. I didn't think we were going to get so much of this. This is really great. I love the idea of one writer piggybacking off of another to create something cool, cohesive, and interesting. These characters are dynamic. I'm interested to see how things get mixed up with Eggman and Metal Sonic in the mix. It's just fascinating to me. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Because for me, the art killed it, the colors killed it. I mean, this is an A+ team right now. But I want to hear your thoughts. How do you feel about where the storyline is headed? Are you interested in having more Surge and Kit? Are you cool with it for another couple of issues? Do you wish that they were just gone and done with, or we are moving on to something else? Let me know your thoughts. But until next time, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din, and I hope to see you in the next video. Until then, bye-bye.